Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. Today we're going to recap the NBA and Stanley Cup playoff games from yesterday, look ahead to tonight's playoff games in each sport. Major League Baseball, soccer, golf, reality TV, news and notes, and best bets. So a little bit of a smaller show than lately. We'll start with the NBA playoffs as we've been doing. We'll go over the results and look ahead to an interesting game for tonight. So, yesterday, Knicks over the Heat, 111-105. They even up this baby at 1 apiece. Miami outplayed the Knicks for a majority of the game, but the Knicks closed it out and played their best basketball in the moments that mattered the most, which was the closing 5 minutes of the game. And that's all it took. And Jalen Brunson had 30 on a bum ankle, and Caleb Martin, 22 points, 8 boards, stepping up in Jimmy Butler's absence. I think it's alarming that New York almost lost with Brunson and Randle both playing and Butler not. I think it's very alarming. But maybe it's because of Miami shot really well from three the majority of the game until the fourth quarter. Yeah, they had 17 three-pointers. Knicks 16 three-pointers. So maybe it was Miami shooting it from three really well. But then the threes kind of went to crap in the fourth quarter. And the Knicks hit some big threes. So maybe it was that, and maybe it was just a case of some random guy like Gabe Vincent or even Kevin Love getting hot. And like I said, this is the zombie Heat. And they're cockroaches, just like the Ringers, as Bill Simmons and John Jastrzemski say. I agree with them. They're right about the Miami Heat. They're absolute cockroaches and they're zombies. They either are great and then they falter, or they play like zombies and then they arrive and pull it out of their rear end like they did in Game 5 against Milwaukee. And that's with or without Jimmy Butler even too. So, good for Miami just getting the split. And then the Lakers with a big 117-112 win in Game 1 to steal home court in that series. Anthony Davis was the best player on the court, 30 points, 23 rebounds. He, I think, had one of the best games of his career. Steph Curry, 27 points in defeat. And by the way, Kevon Looney had 23 rebounds for Golden State too, which is crazy. But Davis was so good, and he really stepped up big time. And then LeBron, pedestrian 22-11. But it didn't matter because that's how good Anthony Davis was. But I think the Warriors are going to be okay. I actually did pick the Lakers to win outright on the show yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I said Lakers win Game 1, but the Warriors win in 7. So tonight, 8 o'clock TNT, the Sixers at the Celtics Game 2. I don't expect to see Joel Embiid tonight, and if I'm the Sixers, don't play him. You got the win, and you bring him back in Game 3. It's necessary. So he's actually questionable, it says on DraftKings, but it's really doubtful. Doc Rivers said doubtful. My line here is Celtics by 8.5 without Embiid, total 227 and 720. So if somehow Embiid plays, I would make it Celtics only by 2.5. But the Sixers really did show me something in that Game 1 win. James Harden looked like the James Harden from the Rockets, but I don't know if that's sustainable. But what could be sustainable is to play a Tyrese Maxey, who I think is becoming a star in front of our very own eyes in these playoffs. And Boston's giving 9.5 totals, 216.5. I'll take the over again. For the same reason why I took the over in Game 1. Even though it's likely Embiid won't play, that weakens the Sixers defensively, and that really should get Boston going offensively like it did, but Boston's defense was abysmal in Game 1, amazingly enough, and that's with Rob Williams healthy. And I know Maxey and Harden shot the lights out, but if it's let's say if the Celtics win 112-106, that's an over. I could see some sort of outcome like that. Like 115-106 sounds right to me. 115-106 Celtics. I'm going to call my shot on the final score on the podcast, and I think the Celtics even up this baby at 1 apiece. So I wouldn't be opposed to taking the Sixers getting the points, but I would do it if the line went up. But I'm going to give out the over for the game. And by the way, the Sixers to win Game 2 right now is 4-1. And speaking of injuries, I really was proven wrong about Julius Randle in terms of me thinking that he wasn't healthy. And the fact that the Heat sat Butler, I'm like, Knicks got to sit Randle. Randle played, and it turned out they needed him. They don't win Game 2 without Julius Randle. So maybe it was smart of the Knicks to sit him in Game 1, even though they lost. Because he was terrific in Game 2, and it was easily his best playoff game as a Knick. And the best I've seen Randle play in a while. So I was proven wrong about Randle's health there. And he was arguably the second best guy on the court in that game behind Jalen Brunson. So, good on Julius Randle for the Knicks for stepping up. And if I'm the Sixers, I sit Embiid. Again, you won Game 1. Let him rest. Sacrifice Game 2 because you don't need Game 2. You got 1, and that's all you needed. You need to steal 1 in Boston. And you did it without your star player, and that's what made that impressive. And Doc Rivers really coached a good game in Game 1. We'll see how Game 2 unfolds. So the Sixers really shouldn't have any shame in losing Game 2 unless there's like a big injury or something to Harden or Maxey or somebody else on that team. All right, now we'll move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from yesterday, and we have 2 more Game 1s tonight. Panthers over the Maple Leafs 4-2 to take a 1-0 series lead. Impressive win for Florida. Number 3 started game with 34 saves on 36 shots, Sergei Bobrovsky. Number 2 started game with 3 assists, Matt Tkachuk. Number 1 started the game with the golden assist, Sam Bennett. And then the Kraken over the Stars 5-4 in overtime on a game winner by Yanni Goudreau. And it was a great game. Number 3 started game with 3 assists, Max Domi. Number 2 started game with the overtime winner, Yanni Goudreau. And the number 1 started game with 4 goals, Joe Pavelski, which was his first game back from injury, and he played very well. In that game, and the last time he played was in Game 1 against Minnesota, so they really needed Joe Pavelski, and that's impressive that they got away with the Minnesota series without him. And he really just was their offense, him and Domi, in Game 1, but they still lost. So great win for the Kraken, and great win for the Panthers, too, as they both steal home ice advantage. They kick off the second round. 7 o'clock ESPN, Devils, Canes. This is probably the Sean McDonough group, unless they're on Oilers, Golden Knights. Looking forward to this one. I took Devils in 6 in the series. The Devils are favored, and they deserve to be favored in the series against Carolina because Carolina has so many injuries, and New Jersey is continuing to prove that they're a team that is here to stay and has arguably a top 10 player in all of hockey in Jack Hughes. Canes are minus 120. Devils are even money. Over under 5.5. Overs plus 110. Unders minus 134. Devils plus 1.5 is minus 265. Canes minus 1.5 is plus 215. I'm going to take the Devils straight up at even money. I think that they're not afraid of playing on the road as they showed at MSG. And I think MSG is a tougher place to play than PNC Arena. So I'm going to take the Devils at even money to beat Carolina in Game 1. And I think Schmid will play well again. 9:30 ESPN, Oilers Golden Knights should be a great game. Edmonton's a slight road favorite at -115. Vegas is -105. Over under 6.5. Overs -118. Unders -104. Edmonton -1.5 is +198. Vegas +1.5 is -245. I'm taking Vegas at home at -105. Edmonton, until proven otherwise, I don't trust their depth outside of McDavid and Draisaitl. They're a minus by their name because of two players. Their goaltending situation is bad. They got away with it against the Kings. And Brossoit, I think, has shown that he is capable of stealing games. So I'm going to take Vegas at -105. And I took Vegas in 7 for the series as well. So I'm going to go with both underdogs in the Game 1s tonight in hockey. Alrighty, now move on to baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to the games today. Braves over the Marlins 6-0. Braves 20-10, Marlins 16-14. Rays over the Pirates 4-1. Rays 24-6, staggering. Pittsburgh 20-10. So much for Pittsburgh beating Tampa. Nats over the Cubs 4-1. Nats 11-18, Cubs 15-14. White Sox over the Twins 3-2-10 on a walk-off single by Andrew Benintendi. White Sox 9-21. Yikes, I didn't realize they were that bad. Minnesota 17-13. Red Sox over the Blue Jays 7-6. The Red Sox have been playing better baseball. They're 17-14. Toronto's 18-12. Yankees over the Guardians 4-2. Yankees with a big win, 16-15, so they are back over 500. Cleveland is 14-16. Orioles over the Royals, 11-7. Orioles 20-9, impressive. KC 7-23. Angels over the Cardinals, 5-1. The Angels 16-14. St. Louis 10-20. Rangers over the Diamondbacks, 6-4. Rangers 18-11. Arizona 16-14. Giants over the Astros, 2-0. Nice win for San Francisco, 12-17 on the year. Houston drops to 16-14. Houston's been very disappointing this year. Nobody's talking about it because of the Yankees and the White Sox and the Cardinals and the Dodgers and the Mets and even the Padres to some degree. But the Astros are quietly 16-14. Rockies over the Brewers, 3-2. So best bet, an easy winner. Colorado's 10-20. Milwaukee's 18-11. Mariners over the A's 2-1. Mariners 13-16, Oakland 6-24. Reds over the Pirates 2-1-10. Reds 13-17, Padres 16-15. And the Dodgers over the Phillies 13-1 in Bryce Harper's first game back. Dodgers 18-13, so they're kind of turning it around a little bit. Phillies 15-16. Harper goes 0-4 in his first game back. I said yesterday that I felt that Philadelphia was rushing Harper. I'm going to stand by that until it's proven. Like, say if Harper goes and hits 5 home runs in the next 10 days, then that's gonna shut me up. So today's games, doubleheader game 1, make up from yesterday. Mets Tigers at 1:30. Joey Lucchesi and Joey Wentz. The Mets are -164. The Tigers are +138. Over under 9.5. Overs +102. Unders -124. Mets -1.5 is -102. Tigers +1.5 is -118. For this one, I'm gonna go with over 5 Met runs, -110. 2 o'clock, D-backs Rangers. Brandon Fat and Andrew Heaney. Pafad, is that how you say his name? Arizona. He's making his season debut. Rangers minus 126, D-backs plus 108, over under 8.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 205. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 168. Tough one. Because of the unknown of the pitcher on the Diamondbacks, a good play would be over 4 Ranger runs at minus 118. MLB Network, Giants Astros. Logan Webb and Framber Valdez. Astros minus 166, Giants plus 140, over under 7.5. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 156. Astros minus 1.5 is plus 130. For this one, I'm going to go with over 4 Astro runs at minus 108. I think their offense bounces back a little bit. 4 o'clock, Phil's Dodgers. Aaron Nola and Gavin Stone making his debut. The Dodgers were slight home favorites, minus 112. Phillies minus 104, over under 9. Overs even money, unders minus 122. Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 155. Dodgers plus 1.5 is minus 188. I'm going to take the Phillies straight up. They need the win. Gavin Stone's first start. I could see Nola pitching well here, so minus 104. Reds Padres. Luis Cessa and Seth Lugo. Padres are minus 275. Reds are plus 225, over under 9, minus 110 each way. Reds plus 1.5 is plus 114. Padres minus 1.5 is minus 137. Luis Cessa's awful. Good job on Brian Cashman. The rare recent decision, one of the rare recent great decisions by Cashman to trade somebody that he felt had value at the time. Over 5.5 Padre runs, even money is the pick. 6:30 Braves Marlins. Kyle Wright and Braxton Garrett. Braves minus 148, Marlins plus 126, over under 8, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 115, Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 138. For this one, I'm going to go full game under. Don't feel good about it. Mets Tigers doubleheader game 2. Max Scherzer making his return from suspension against Michael Lorenzen. Tigers are a plus 184 underdog. Mets minus 220. So Scherzer pitching in his old stopping grounds. So that's a fun one. 8.5 is the total. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Mets minus 1.5 is minus 126. Tigers plus 1.5 is plus 105. I don't know how Scherzer's going to look in his first start back. But what I do know is that Michael Lorenzen's no good. So I'm going to go over 5 Met runs, minus 102. I think the Mets are going to score a lot of runs in these two games. Pirates, Rays, Mitch Keller, and Shane McClanahan. Rays minus 235, Pittsburgh plus 194, over under 7, minus 110 each way. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 125, Rays minus 1.5 is plus 104. Full game under. Great pitching matchup, too. 7 o'clock, Guardians, Yankees. Shane Bieber and Clark Schmidt. The Guardians are favored, minus 136. Yanks plus 116, over under 7.5. Overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Guardians minus 1.5 is plus 125. Yankees plus 1.5 is minus 150. Clark Schmidt's been terrible in the rotation. So the easy tick is over 4 Guardian runs, minus 110. That is a no-brainer. Doesn't mean the Guardians are going to win, but I do think they're going to score a lot of runs. And Shane Bieber has had some shaky moments against the Yankees, especially in that playoff game several years ago. But I like Shane Bieber as a pitcher, and I think he'll pitch well tonight for the most part. Depends on the Guardians' bullpen. Cubs, Nats. Marcus Stroman and Jake Irvin making his debut. The Cubs are minus 205. The Nats are plus 172, over under 8.5. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Cubs minus 1.5 is minus 122. Nats plus 1.5 is plus 102. The unknown with Irvin, over 5 Cubs runs, minus 104. Twins, White Sox, Louis Varland and Dylan Cease. White Sox minus 124, Twins plus 106, over under 8, overs minus 104, and there's minus 118. Twins plus 1.5 is minus 194, White Sox minus 1.5 is plus 160. Varland, kind of mediocre. In terms of his start, he gave up 3 homers in 6 innings. He had a weird stat line. So, I'm going to go over 4 White Sox runs at plus 104. I don't love that pick, but I think it's an interesting call. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Alek Manoah and Nick Pivetta. Blue Jays minus 136, Red Sox plus 116, over under 9.5, minus 110 each way. Jays minus 1.5 is plus 116, Red Sox plus 1.5 is minus 140. Alek Manoah's been disappointing this year for him. And Nick Pivetta is Nick Pivetta. So I'm going to bank on a Nick Pivetta bounce back performance. So I'm going to go with the full game under. 7:30 Orioles, Royals. Kyle Gibson, Zach Greinke. Orioles minus 158, Royals plus 134, over under 9. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. O's minus 1.5 is minus 102, Royals plus 1.5 is minus 118. Zach Greinke's been terrible this year. I'm going to go over 5 Oriole runs at minus 102. 7:45 Angels, Cards. Shohei Ohtani and Miles Mikolas. Whoo! And Mikolas has been so bad this year. This is a mismatch from a pitching standpoint. Angels minus 142, Cards plus 120, over under 7.5. Overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 118, Cards plus 1.5 is minus 144. I do think Ohtani gets overpriced sometimes, but here's not the case. The Cards are really bad to start the year. I'm going under 3.5 Cardinal runs, minus 115. Ohtani's going to show off yet again. 8:30 Brewers, Rockies. Eric Lauer, Kyle Freeland. Brewers minus 118, Rockies even money, over under 12. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Brewers minus 1.5 is plus 128. Rockies plus 1.5 is minus 154. This is a hard one. But I think I'm just going to lay the minus 118 with Milwaukee. I'm going to make that my pick, actually. And then 9:30 Mariners, A's. Logan Gilbert and J.P. Sears. Mariners minus 178, A's plus 150, over under 7.5. Overs minus 122, unders even money. Mariners minus 1.5 is plus 102, A's plus 1.5 is minus 122. This is a hard one, but I'm going to go with over 4.5 Mariner runs at minus 105. J.P. Sears hasn't been very good for Oakland. Alrighty, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to things going on today. All right, CONCACAF, LAFC over Philadelphia 3-0. They advanced 4-1 on aggregate. Dominant performance for LAFC as they get it done and advance to the final. And they'll take on the winner of Leon and Tigres, which play at 10 o'clock tonight. Tigres lead 2-1 on aggregate. And in terms of a selection, Leon plus 125, Tigres plus 190, draw plus 230. I like how Tigres is playing. They're playing really well. I'm going to take them to win it at plus 190, and they will win aggregate, obviously, as well as set up a final with LAFC in a couple of weeks. All right, English Premier League results from yesterday. Arsenal over Chelsea 3-1. Today, 3 o'clock, you have Liverpool and Fulham. Liverpool's minus 380, Fulham's plus 950. The draw's 5-1. It's tough to go against Liverpool for sure. Over 3.5 goals plus 120 is the pick. And then Man City and West Ham. Man City's minus 600. West Ham's 14-1. The draw's 6-1. Man City, Liverpool, and the Celtics would be a fun money line parlay to ride through the day. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals here at plus 124. All right, next we have La Liga. Almeria over Elche 2-1. Barcelona over Osasuna 1-0. And Real Sociedad over Real Madrid 2-0. 3 today. 1:30 have Valencia and Villarreal. Valencia's plus 160. Villarreal's plus 165. The draw's plus 230. Both teams are playing decent right now. I'm going to go with the draw at plus 230. 4 o'clock, Atletico and Cadiz. Atletico Madrid's minus 420. Cadiz is 9-1. The draw's plus 480. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at plus 114. And then Getafe and Celta Vigo. Getafe's plus 155. Celta Vigo's 2-1. The draw's plus 195. Getafe's been sliding. Don't like how they've looked. I'm going to go with the draw here at plus 195. A big day in Italian Serie A. 12 o'clock, you have Atalanta and Spezia. Atalanta's minus 290. Spezia's 7-1. The draw's plus 380. Atalanta's playing good. For the pick, we're going to go over 3.5 goals at plus 150. Juventus and Lecce. Juventus minus 190. Lecce 6-1. The draw's plus 280. Juventus, don't like how they've looked in Serie A play of late, but it's tough to go against them. So I'm going to go over 2.5 goals at plus 134. Salernitana and Fiorentina. Salernitana's plus 360. Fiorentina's minus 145. The draw's plus 280. I'm going to go with the draw plus 280. I think the draw's value. Sampdoria and Torino. Torino's minus 135. Sampdoria's plus 380. The draw's plus 240. For this one, I'm going to go over 2.5 goals plus 120. 3 o'clock, you have Milan and Cremonese. Milan's minus 420. Cremonese is 9-1. The draw's plus 460. For this one, I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at plus 114. Verona and Inter Milan. Verona's plus 190. Inter's minus 185. The draw's plus 290. Inter's really good. Over 2.5 goals, minus 104. Lazio and Sassuolo. Lazio minus 175. Sassuolo's plus 450. Draw's plus 310. I'm going to go with under 2.5 goals at plus 102. And Monza and AS Roma. Monza's playing good right now. Monza's plus 290. Roma's plus 105. The draw's plus 210. Monza's home, and they've won their last 3. I'm going to keep the good vibes going. I'm going to pick AC Monza to pull off the upset here. All right, French League 1. Lens over Toulouse 1-0 from yesterday. And today, 3 o'clock, you have Brent and Nantes. Brest is plus 145. Nantes is 2-1. The draw's plus 210. I'm going to go with the draw at plus 210. I think that's going to be a closer outcome than people may expect. I'm just going to check and see if we have anything else going on that has to be mentioned. We won't see UEFA Europa until next week. So that's really it for soccer. All right, now move on to golf. We have the Wells Fargo Championship coming up. I'll give you tee times and I'll give you a pick. This was a tough one to gauge, to be honest. So it's 6:50 tomorrow morning. Hayden Buckley, Robbie Shellen, Ryan or Moore, Kevin Strillman, Ben Martin, and Taylor Montgomery. 7:01, Tyson Alexander, Stephon Yeager, Mark Hubbard, Will Gordon, Keith Mitchell, Ryan Moore. 7:12, Lucas Hodges, Dylan McCarthy, B.U. Allen, Adam Putnam, Adam Long, B.U. Hostler. 7:23, Joel Dobbins, C. Thiglia, Evan Van Royen, Max Homa, J.B. Holmes, Patrick Cantlay. 7:34, Sub Straka, Michael Thompson, Rory McIlroy, Luke List, Jason Day, Matt Fitzpatrick. 7:45, Nicholas Echevarria, Corey Connors, Martin Laird, Harry English, Tony Finau, Kunku Lee. 7:56, Seamus Power, Cam Davis, Webb Simpson, Joaquim Herman, Francesco Molinari, Mackenzie Hughes. 8:07, Nate Hardy, JT Potson, Matt Wallace, Grayson Higo, Taylor Moore, Chesler V. 8:18, Davis Riley, Sunjay M, Adam Svensson, Gary Wooden, Lucas Glover, Robert Streb. 8:29, Doc Redman, Alex Mully, Justin Lauer, Troy Merritt, Kelly Kraft, Zach Blair. 8:40, Scott Piercy, Joseph Burlett, Adam Hadlin, Russell Knox, Dylan Fratelli, Patton Kazirs. 8:51 with Aaron Ray, Austin Eckroyd, Henderson Endicott, Kevin Tway, James Hahn. 9:02, Cam Young, Alejandro Tosti, Willie Mack III, Trevor Cohn, Ryan Gerard, and Austin Greaser. 12:10, Doug Gibb, Kramer Hickok, Jensen Pond, Patrick Rogers, Rory Sabatini, Davis Lipsky. 12:21, Justin Sue, Austin Smuldering, Callum Tavern, Matthias Schwab, Nate Watney, and Danny Willett. 12:32, Eric Cole, Ben Taylor, Scott Stevens, Alex Loren, Tommy Fleetwood, Jason Hadley. 12:43, Xander Schauffele, Tyler Duncan, Jordan Spieth, Chris Kirk, Tom Kim, and Brendan Todd. 12:54, J.J. Swan, Justin Thomas, Ricky Fowler, Stuart Sink, Zach Johnson, Keegan Bradley. 105, Colin Moore, Cal Richie Wierenski, Kurt Katayama, Victor Hovland, Cam Young, Brian Harmon. And by the way, 902 is Carson Young, not Cam Young. So that's my apologies. 116, Chad Raby, Sam Burns, Lucas Griffin, Shane Lowry, Adam Scott, Paul Haley. 127, Saiwoo Kim, Trey Mullinax, Cam Champ, Andrew Landry, Matt Kuchar, Tyler Hatton. 138, Matthew Neesmith, Adam Schenk, Wyndham Clark, Davis Thompson, Nate Lashley, Taylor Pendrith. 149, Ben Griffin, Grayson Sieg, Sam Ryan, Ryan Palmer, Peter Malnati, Michael Kim. 2 o'clock, Henrik Norlander, Sungwoo Kim, Max McGreevy, Jason Duffner, Dylan Ligward, Emiliano Grillo. 2:11, MJ Duffy, Brent Grant, Harry Hall, Dylan Wu, Ashkay Bahita, and Pierce Goncudi. 2:22, Trace Crow, Morgan Deenan, Marcus Bird, Danny Geis, Ryan Cole, and Quinn Riley. All right, so my pick to win this tournament, I'm going to lay a quarter unit on it. There's a couple I had in consideration, and the one that I'm going to pick to win this tournament, I am going to go with Cameron Young at 17-1, laying a quarter unit on it to win the 2023 Wells Fargo Championship. All right, Masked Singer. Tonight's the quarterfinals. We'll discuss last week's episode, which was the the saved contestants. So Medusa went first. There was a carpet. She's trying to prove herself. There was a son. Maybe there's a connection to LeAnn Rimes. There was a record, and she sang Mercy by Shawn Mendes. Celebrity clue. She says she goes by something different to the world rather than her actual name. I feel really good about my guess, and I'm sticking with my gut, and I'm saying that this is none other than Miss Stacey Ferguson, a.k.a. Fergie. Nicole thinks it's Lord, which is a good guess. Robin says Kesha. That's a good guess, but of course Ken Jeong has the awful guess of Susan Boyle. Gargoyle talks about how he's used to performing in front of big venues, wearing 4 layers, more experience as an underdog. There's a bear. And then he performed DJ God Has Fallen in Love by Usher. The celebrity clue is Ken on a coin. It says pregame music gets him in the zone. Robin threw out Deshaun Jackson. Jenny said Richard Perry and Michael B. Jordan. And Ken said Anthony Mackie. And last to go was Mantis. He talks about how this is his daughter's favorite show. Not known as a singer. There was a couch. A secret agent tag. A baseball diamond. Loves to work. And then he performs You Really Got Me by the Kinks. The celebrity clue was a C word, a movie Maverick, and more movie credits than Ken Jeong. Ken said Brendan Fraser. Nicole said Steve Buscemi. And Robin said Tom Lennon. Mantis was the first to go home. My guess, Jonah Hill. Robin said Dennis Quaid. Nicole said Steve Buscemi. Jenny said Kevin Bacon. Ken said Brendan Fraser. And who was it? Nobody was right. It was Lou Diamond Phillips. So, good job by the Gargoyle by fooling the judges. And a really good career. A ton of movies. So obviously more film credits than one Ken Jeong. And he's been around a long time. So really good get for the show. Battle Royale was Medusa against Gargoyle. The song was Centuries by Fall Out Boy. Gargoyle went first. Medusa went second. And who moves on? None other than Medusa, who didn't deserve to be in this episode anyway. I really think California Roll would have made this episode more interesting because I think it would have been more of a competition because I think it was a lock Medusa was moving on. So Gargoyle goes home. My guess was Odell Beckham Jr. Robin said Joey Bosa. Nicole said Marshawn Lynch. Ken said Anthony Mackie. Jenny with the interesting guess of Michael B. Jordan. And who was it? Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen. That was a surprise to a lot of people, so the judges were wrong yet again. But I had a better guess than all the panel. I mean, you could argue Robin because he guessed the wrong Charger, but I guessed the wide receiver in Odell. So maybe Robin had a better guess because of he guessed the Charger. But he went to Cal, so that's where the bear clue came in. So Keenan Allen, that was a weird one. He's a more well-known player than Jordan Mailata. So I'll give them that. Although Jordan Mailata really has turned into a great offensive tackle and one of the best ones in the league. So maybe they were onto something with Jordan Mailata. But Keenan Allen, I always thought was an underrated player his whole career. So it's fun to see him get some shine on The Masked Singer. So I'm looking forward to tonight. So it's Medusa against the California Roll. And McCaw and UFO. So this is 4. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so let's talk about the contestants we didn't talk about yet. So UFO, we'll see in tonight's episode. There's hints about like someone being like old school. There's a flag that says "I love it." A sewing machine, the Golden Gate Bridge. There's a cemetery. In the celebrity clue, planet-wide, my guess for UFO right now is Jodie Sweetin of Full House. McCall. There's a cacti, an old TV, salsa, arrows, anxiety, fills with glee. So maybe this was somebody that was on Glee. The contestant performed "Live Like You Were Dying" by Tim McGraw. Celebrity clue, Deanna Carter came out. There was a silver medal. Wasn't until he left Ness until he struck gold. My guess for McCall right now is Niall Horan. Of One Direction. And then the California Roll. There's 5 of them. I'm excited for California Roll. I'm not gonna lie. Baseball, skateboard, soy sauce, Broadway, book group project. There's pictures of Cali rolls, spicy mayo cones. And then there's a pizza that says 5 billion and growing. And my guess for California Roll, Westlife, and that was obviously back in March. So we haven't seen the California Roll since March 1st. So we haven't seen them in 2 months. So I'm probably going to have a different guess come tonight. And if I had to guess who goes home tonight, no way it's Medusa. So I'm going to say that the contestant that goes home is McCaw. And then the semifinal will be UFO, Medusa, and the Cali Roll. And we'll take it from there. All right, now we'll talk about Survivor. We will recap the episode from last week and do some predictions for the show for this week. So, they're down to 9. And the beginning shows like Kane and Danny searching for a new idol. And the rest of the tribe joined them. And then Heidi found the idol. And then there's Tree Mail, which discussed a negotiation for rice. Danny tried to convince everyone to compete. Carson had other ideas. And then the players in the immunity challenge had to stand with one leg on a narrow perk. Like balancing a ball with the handle against a narrow piece of wood. And if a player stepped down or dropped their ball, they'd be eliminated from the challenge. The last standing player won immunity. And at the challenge, Jeff offered a large bag of rice to the tribe if 4 players would sit out, sacrificing their chances at immunity. And the players that ended up sitting out were Carson, Lauren, Kane, and Heidi, giving the tribe rice. So the players that competed were Jam Jam, Franny, Danny, Lauren, Jamie, and Carolyn. And Franny beat Danny for immunity. They're the final 2. So Franny gets her second individual immunity of the season. And then they talk about voting strategies, and then Ratu wanted to bring in Tika to split the vote between Danny and Heidi and pass their advantages along in case of potential knowledge of power was being played. Lauren gave her extra vote to Jamie so that she could cast twice against Heidi. And Jamie gave her fake idol to Kane, still believing it to be real. And then Franny tried to talk Danny into a line with Ratu to blindside somebody on Tika, which Danny was not a fan of. I think Danny had the right idea, and not to go to Tika yet. So I didn't love that idea by Franny. And then at Tribal, everybody was like whispering and stuff, and it was kind of a live Tribal. And then Jamie used the extra vote, but it didn't work out. And Kane gets voted out with Jamie's fake idol in his pocket. So how the voting went down. Carolyn, Carson, and Jam Jam all voted for Kane. So the Tika group went with Kane. Danny also went with Kane, as did Heidi. Franny voted for Jamie, which was odd. Jamie used her 2 votes on Heidi, didn't work out. And Lauren also voted for Heidi. And then Kane voted for Danny. So Kane's out. And now we're down to 8. So it's Carolyn, Carson, Danny, Franny, Heidi, Jamie, Lauren, and Jam Jam. So a nice group of 8. All right, best move of the episode. Tika being on the right side of the vote, I think, was the best move of the episode, because I think that Tika's the wild card here, and they can go either way. And I think that the Soka group is gaining the trust of the Tika group. So good job by the Tika trio of Carolyn, Jam Jam, and Carson to go with the Kane vote. Worst move. Kane's comment, I felt was a bad karma move when Kane said, maybe if the vote went my way, then I'm paraphrasing what he said. Maybe if the vote went my way, I would have made a different choice. And then Kane sat because the idea of not voting for anybody who sat was brought up. But hey, Kane, you ran your mouth. That's karma. So that's why you were voted out. And I don't think that sat well with Danny, obviously, because Danny used his idol on Franny, which was a ballsy, great move, in my opinion, from 2 weeks ago's episode. And then there were a couple bad moves. Another one was Lauren with the extra vote thing, giving it to Jamie because it didn't work out. Danny making it obvious that he was looking for an idol is in there too. So there was a lot of not so great moves here. Favorite part. I love Jam Jam being like if you put my name down, you're dead. Because he alluded to Josh, Brandon, and Matt, was it? Putting his name down. And he talks about how those 3 contestants put his name down and they all got eliminated. So yes, it was Matt, Brandon, and Josh all put his name down, and then they're all voted out in those consecutive weeks when those players were voted out. So that's a little bit funny that Jam Jam being like, yeah, if you vote for me, it's karma. So that's just funny that I liked Jam Jam pointing that out. My winner pick right now, I'm sticking with Danny. I think that selfless move of giving playing his idol on Franny will bode well for the jury, especially one Matt, who apparently him and Franny are dating, so that's pretty cool. I mean that in real life. Next to go, oh, this is a hard one. I'm really worried about Franny. She won a couple of immunities, and I think that there's a possibility that she's next. I'm very worried about Franny. But the trend here has been Ratu, Ratu, Ratu. Because Kane and Brandon were Ratu. Matt was Soka. So maybe I'm wrong. But Lauren used her extra vote. And Lauren's name hasn't been brought up in a while. And she won immunity 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to say next to go is going to be Lauren instead of Franny, because I think Franny's gained a lot of respect from the tribe. So I'm going to say Lauren, although I'm worried about Franny. And then individual immunity. I'm going to pick somebody outside the box. Somebody that sat out last week. I think she's due, and I think the winner of immunity is going to be Jamie. So there you have it for Survivor. All right, news and notes. Breaking news right now. This is a doozy. And this is not something that I agree with. Embiid to his teammates. I'm back. As he let his team know that he's on track to return for Game 2 tonight. Whoa, baby. Whoa, baby. Where's the line right now on FanDuel? Like, that's crazy that Joel's going to play. The line's down to 7.5. It went down 2 points. And it's going to keep going down. That's wild. But it is the Game 2 bomb. So I probably am going to bet the Sixers getting the points to try to hedge that Celtics and 6 bet. But I do have the Philly future as well. But, whoa, baby. I don't agree with Embiid here. I would have sat another game. I need to see him go out and perform like the MVP that he rightfully deserved tonight if he really is back. So, he was named MVP yesterday. And he deserved it in the most way and in the biggest way as he beat out Jokic and Giannis. First Sixer to win the MVP since Allen Iverson in 2001. There's a terrible shot that Jordan Poole made in that Warriors-Lakers game last night, and Steve Kerr and Draymond didn't mind it. He goes, it's a great shot for us. No, it's not. Jordan Poole's not Stephen Curry. Get over it. You lost the game because he took that shot. If Steph Curry takes that shot, that probably goes in and you probably win the game. So no, I don't want to hear shit that Jordan Poole should have taken the shot. No way. The ball belongs in Steph's hands. And then there was a moment of Joel Embiid getting emotional after Harden and the rest of his team celebrated his MVP win. And that was pretty cool. Chris Paul, day-to-day, and he'll be out games 3 through 5 as he's expected to be reevaluated in 1 week after having MRI on groin injury. This is brutal. The Suns are down 0-2, and Chris Paul, it's a big loss, but they can win a game without him. But I gotta be honest, I don't think we'll see Chris Paul back this season because I don't think this goes 6 unless if Kevin Durant turns into Kevin Durant from Golden State and Oklahoma City. And Devin Booker continues to be playing as well as he has. Dylan Brooks will not be re-signed by the Memphis Grizzlies as he won't return under any circumstances. Not surprising. He is just an immature brat, as I talked about on the show plenty of times. For the first time in his career, LeBron James didn't receive a single vote for MVP. That is not surprising. He's old, and the league is better than it's ever been. So, it's not LeBron's fault, but it's just the reality of the situation. The Yankees got somebody back from the IL, Harrison Bader. Made a great catch in the game last night. Maybe saved the run. So at least their defense is better with his return. He's not a difference maker offensively like the other 2 big bats on the IL are. But it's a body that that they need, and it makes their lineup better, but not that much better. He's just a decent center fielder who hits like 250, 260. And on top of that, Lou Trevino, Tommy John surgery, season-ending surgery today in LA. Lou Trevino had some moments last year. He was the throw-in in the Montas deal, which is an all-time bad trade by Brian Cashman, giving up J.P. Sears. But J.P. Sears has been bad for Oakland this year, so maybe it won't turn out as bad. But this is the second coming of the Sonny Gray trade, where you trade for a pitcher, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason. And then the guy that they signed, Carlos Rodon, has yet another setback. He can't get over that final hump, and Boone says that he will seek more medical options. My goodness. Like, would it shock you would it shock you if we didn't see Carlos Rodon all year? At this point, I'm going to say no. And he was supposed to be the number 2 guy behind Garrett Cole that they've lacked for a couple of years now. And they signed him for a reason, and I supported the signing at the time, and they did it because they didn't think Nestor Cortez was as good as he was last year, and they had questions about Montas and Severino, so there was a reason they signed him, and now he might not even throw a pitch for a long time. And speaking of injuries, brutal for the Rockies. German Marquez, Tommy John surgery, so we won't see him for another year. That's just brutal for the Rockies. It's just unfortunate. I wonder if he would have been better off on another team. But he's getting surgery, and just brutal for the Rockies. So Logan Webb lost a bet because he picked the Kings against the Warriors, who Of course, all the his teammates are rooting for the Warriors because they're in the same town. But he lost a bet, so go check out what he had to do because he lost a bet. It's funny. Matt Crocker discusses his future. He's the new sporting director for U.S. Soccer. Madrid is closing in on Bellingham as negotiations are advanced with personal terms. All right, talk about a ratings thing. The Super Bowl 57 sets TV record, the most watched U.S. telecast ever, with an average of 115.1 million viewers across all platforms. Wow. Like, that's crazy. So the previous record, I believe, was Super Bowl 46 between the Giants and the Patriots, but this beat it. Wow. I mean, it's a lot of star power, obviously, with the Eagles and Mahomes and the two best teams last year, so it makes sense. The Bills sign former Seahawks interior lineman Poona Ford. So that's interesting. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, fifth-year option declined after 2 injury-plagued seasons. But only 12 players from the 2020 NFL Draft had their fifth-year option picked up. That's the fewest ever. That's crazy. That was not a bad draft, but it was a lot of teams had bad first rounds because, I mean, that was the COVID year, and we didn't know a lot of information that year, so it was hard for a lot of teams. So you got to give the teams that nailed their picks that year credit. Obviously, the no-brainers were Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and even Tua to some degree with Miami, Andrew Thomas with the Giants, Justin Jefferson with Minnesota. So there's a couple of obvious ones that have worked out. And then the Jets to sign Randall Cobb. His longtime wide receiver is to go to the Jets, of course. They're becoming the New York Packers. And Rodgers is getting all his Green Bay buddies there. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. All right. So, my best bet for today, and now the Celtics-Sixers line is at 8. So, it goes from 7.5 to 8. So, that line's going to be bouncing all day long. I'm going to lay a full unit on... This is a hard one. I have a couple in mind. And the one that I'm going to go with I'm going to go under 8 in Braves Marlins. I don't feel super about it. I'm going to lay a whole unit on it. I'm probably going to come to regret not going with the Padres team total over, but I think the full game under between the Braves and the Marlins is solid. So I'm going to go with that for best bet. All right, that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and looking ahead to everything tomorrow as well. Maybe we'll have a special for you, like MLB Power Rankings or something like that, because we haven't done that in a while. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.